Hey guys, I won the European Championship Edison tournament in Berlin. We played our 8 rounds and top 8, and I ended up first place. And this is my list. So for the monsters, it's the free Sirocco, free Shura, free Bora, free Kalut, free Blizzard, 1 Gale and 2 Vayu. I played the second Vayu just because I want more targets of Shura and Whirlwind in the grind game. But it's usually a card you can take out when you're playing as the faster decks or when you expect Shura not to resolve because they have a lot of battle traps like the mirror match, for example. The 1 Dark Arm Dragon. For the spells, it's 2 Whirlwind, other Rain Con, Space and Heavy. No Mind Con because I didn't think it was good enough since you can't attack or tribute it off. There's a lot of cards that you can take in the format, like if they bluff set of value, you don't want to Mind Con that. Currently I expected a lot of Blackwings and Frogs, and I don't want Mind Con against either of those. 4 draw traps, I felt it was a perfect ratio for this event, still enough to where people have to respect your back rows, and I felt 4 was the perfect ratio because I don't want to draw a draw trap off a draw trap. I don't mind seeing 2 in the opening hand, so that's a big skill of these cards, knowing exactly when to use them and when to hold them. It just creates such a mind game for the opponents. Free Icarus, 2 Bottomless, free Prison, Mirror, Torrential, and Dust Shoot. Some people only play 2 of this, but I like free because it's always good to draw into established fields, always good to open with, and helps you survive longer. No Judgment because I didn't want to be paying 4k. Even if I can stop a power play or I can push through my power play and maybe win off of that, that's such a niche scenario where comparing it to the hands where you open with Solemn and you don't really want to set it turn 1 because you don't want to Solemn a heavy, or you don't want to Solemn an early play because you don't want to pay 4k, you'd rather use it later in the game, then it just ends up becoming one of these other cards similar to that where you want to draw it late game but not early game. I didn't think it was good enough to play in the deck, especially in this kind of format we're in right now with Amaryllis being popular and Frogs being popular. For the extra deck, it's 1 Android, 1 Catastor, 2 Armed Wing, 3 yugioh, 2 Armor, Black Rose, Dark End, Fog Ruler, Colossal, Silverwind, Stardust, and Mistworm. The side deck is the only part of the deck where I have some unique cards that most people haven't played. With Amaryllis popping up, sure, it's a good matchup because you can pierce the Amaryllis, but if they summon Titanial and you get into a game where they're able to push you down, you can't win off of damage because they're the ones being you with damage since they're burning you every time you attack all of your guys. So a card I figured was good against that matchup is Banisher. Because if they have Amaryllis and Titanial, you can go summon Banisher, swing over the Amaryllis, it gets banished so you don't take 800 and they lose the resource. Instead of playing cards like Free Prison and a lot of other trap cards, I can just prison their Titanial to save my Banisher, and they still have to deal with the Banisher. It turning off cards like Hidden Armory, Mark of the Rose, if they don't have any way to get plants into the graveyard beforehand I drop this. Even cards like Raikou become worse because they have to pop the Banishers. Yeah, big fan of this card. Also comes in against the Recruiter decks. 2 pros, pretty obvious for the graveyard decks where you want to hold cards in your hand. So if they use a sweeper, you can then crow their push against like Zombies, Dragon Turbo, and the like. 1 system down for Machina. I still wanted something for the deck in case I play it. System down is very good because it plays around they compulse back their gear frame against your Sidra, so you can't fuse, and then they summon gear frame to search and then fuse over your Sidra. This plays around that. I guess it also takes their graveyard, so their avarice is worse and their grind game becomes worse too. 1 skill drain, 1 road. This is for the more inexperienced mirror matches where they mindlessly blow up your entire board. Either we have Black Rose, Icarus, Heavy, Mirror Force, or TT, and they just don't play around this card. But against the better players like the finalist Nicola, I didn't put this in because they were just able to play around it by Icarus pop their own like draw trap and then draw a card and just turning this off. But against the people who maybe came from the main event and don't play Edison as much, I wanted a card to win the mirror match because the BB mirror is one of the worst mirrors in the format, because if they go first in open world and sure and you don't have a way to out that, you can easily de-escalate from you being in a good position because they just get so much advantage, and this is the way to come back by punishing them for making an improper play. Transmigration was very good against Frogs, Deck Devi and 2 Oppression. I chose this instead of 2 Deck Devi 1 Oppression because I felt Oppression was better against both players who aren't playing around it properly, and also against some of the faster decks where you're not able to establish a Sirocco fast enough, like Light Swans, Dragon Turbo, for example. But yeah, these cards were great. 2 Dusts, mainly for the mirror match to beat Whirlwind, because you gotta stop Whirlwind somehow, otherwise you're losing. And 2 Pulling the Rug for Frogs. Shoutouts to Nicola again for letting me borrow his oversized Kais for the coverage picture for Konami. Hopefully I'll get my actual giant card in soon. And make sure to check out my store on Card Market, Frozen Card Gaming, if you need any Edison or current format cards. I have a lot of high-end and nice cards listed there with high resolution pictures. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.